What's a non-sexual thing that you find super hot? Trying to communicate with me. To preface this, I won't be the guy who falls for a bartender while on vacation. I know they flirt with patrons to get better tips, but I think I understand it a bit better now. I spent a week in Mexico and went to one bar regularly with a cute bartender who didn't speak a lick of English, about as much Spanish as I speak. When she wasn't helping customers, she always came back to talk to me, and I don't think I've ever had someone make such an effort to just talk to me in my entire life. Talking in broken sentences, showing off pictures on our phones, grabbing the odd word off Google Translate. I could tell you half this girl's life, and neither of us can string together 5 words in a grammatically correct sentence in the other's language. It made me feel so worth someone's time. If someone at home made that much effort, I'd probably fall head over heels for them. You like Huey Lewis and the News? Their early work was a little too new wave for my taste. But when Sports came out in '83, I think they really came into their own, commercially and artistically. The whole album has a clear, crisp sound, and a new sheen of consummate professionalism that really gives the songs a big boost. He's been compared to Elvis Costello, but I think Huey has a far more bitter, cynical sense of humor. In '87, Huey released this, for their most accomplished album. I think their undisputed masterpiece is Hip to Be Square. A song so catchy, most people probably don't listen to the lyrics. But they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the importance of trends. It's also a personal statement about the band itself. Reminds me of something that happened with my friend. He used to like the smell of this specific perfume, I think it was a Chanel, a lot, so he got it for his wife to wear, and it really did the trick for him. Apparently the wife didn't think too much of it, and lent it to her mother for a bit because she liked it too. My friend had the worst and most awkward boner of his life when he went in to hug his mother-in-law at an event and smelt the horny perfume that he'd gotten specifically for his wife. If your partner gets you a perfume, for the love of God, never let anyone else borrow it. Even if they ask what perfume you're wearing, don't tell them, because you don't want your partner to have that experience. So my ex used a very specific perfume, which I remember vividly, as in I know it when I smell it, but don't know the brand. We broke up around 2.5 years ago, and she's married now. Anyways, a few weeks ago I was going over my old things, and found a tie in a box which she gifted me for one of my birthdays, which I never used. It was too flashy for me. I opened the box, and I could smell her perfume because she slathered the tie with it before packing it. Brought back memories. I closed the box instantly again to preserve it. I have moved on from her and had other relationships since, but it was a nice blast from the past. Smells are a big thing for me. Not in a sexual way either. They can put me in a very good place or a very bad place. For instance, in Iraq, especially where I was at, they burned trash all the damn time, and I had quite a few bad experiences over there. Anytime I smell burning trash, live in an area with a lot of homelessness, I am transported to that place and time. Same with the smell of sand/dirt in the wind, feel and taste of its grit in my mouth. Just not good and could potentially lead to other bullshit. My wife wears certain perfume/body sprays that make me feel safe and warm. She had this one sweater that had a very unique feel to it. Ultra soft. She loved it. She cut it up for me into little squares and sparks her perfume/body sprays on them and gives them to me whenever I am going somewhere with or without her. The feel of the fabric and its smell can pull me right out of whatever I am experiencing. Most of the time anyway. My oldest daughter has similar body sprays and perfumes. Anytime I smell hers, I feel safe once again. She would always spray herself down with it in my car before going into school and before I would take her shopping. Always just before we'd get out. I never made it her responsibility to recognize whenever I am having an episode, but she picked up on it. Whenever she does see something is off, she will randomly spray the room I am in. It just makes me feel safe. Funnily enough, I guess she has latched onto the same sort of feeling. She mimics a lot of the things I do because she enjoys the smells. We go incense shopping together, lol. There are certain gestures and other things that people do with their hands that is, for some odd reason, really attractive to me. Like a relaxed hand position where the fingers are all slightly offset in a way that's just so. Or the way someone holds their cigarette. The way they button their shirt or adjust cufflinks. The way someone might put just a touch of flair in the movement of their hands and fingers while doing a task that they're an expert at, like when a pianist is really going wild or a craftsman expertly handles the tools of their trade. As an amateur cartoonist who has kind of a thing for hands, you'd think I'd thoroughly enjoy drawing them, but I don't have to write the rest of my rant, because every single fellow artist who reads this is already finishing this rant in their heads. When someone starts rambling about something they're super interested in. My boyfriend is a total physics and chemistry nerd, but I'm a lot more art-focused. Even though I don't understand most of what he says, I love hearing the passion in his voice. He feels the same about me. I love marine biology and animals in general, and sometimes I can spend 30 minutes to an hour just bombarding him with animal facts and teaching him about them. Just the other day, we spent a good hour messaging back and forth while I told him all about sharks, like how different species hunt their prey, their individual adaptations, etc. It's a lot of fun dating a nerd, lol. I get really turned on when I see my husband working out or working hard physically on something. I don't remember ever getting like this with any of my exes or any other guys, so I think it's always been reserved to him, but we met at work and I still remember him carrying supplies to build something. We weren't dating at the time, I actually had a BF at the time, and I still drooled a little when I saw it. LOL. The other thing is when he gives me a really loving look. Or like a look that he clearly thinks I'm being adorable in that moment. It just gets me all kinds of ready to pounce on him. LOL. Oh, and also love my hubby in new clothing, particularly things that cover him up a lot. I only imagine taking them off. Self-awareness, having the ability to observe details about their actions and that of others, while being intelligent and kind about it. It stems as the opposite of one of my turn-offs, which is being oblivious and unaware of anything that's happening around them. I love anyone that can be aware of themselves, laugh at themselves, and know when things need to be serious or when we can use comedy to cope. I want to feel relaxed and comfortable around them. Knowing we're on the same page or have the maturity to get back onto the same page if we fall off. I like people who can see through bullshit, and like understanding how the world works, how reality works. Not in some pseudo-depth kind of way, just on a simple day-to-day life level. To me it shows you're paying attention to your life, and your surroundings. You're in the moment, and are observing everything with interest. It's something my brain has done from birth, it's how I operate, so seeing it in someone else just becomes really attractive for some reason. I guess it makes me feel like they would be more capable of understanding my mind, and I theirs. One time my girlfriend and I were drunk on a nature walk. We were walking on a wooden boardwalk type thing because we were at a wetlands area looking for alligators. She had to pee, but because we were stuck on this wooden walkway thing you couldn't go off the trail behind a tree or anything, also there were snakes and alligators and stuff. So we had to wait until there were no people around, and then she pulled her pants down, squatted down, and peed through the wooden slats while I kept watch. I don't have a piss fetish or anything at all, but something about seeing this beautiful lovely lady squat down and piss like an animal really made me horny for some reason. I can't explain it, but it got me going. I told her and she got a good laugh out of it and seemed to appreciate it. At risk of sounding too romantic, courage. When my fiancé does/accomplishes something she wants/needs to, or because it's the right thing to despite being afraid of it, it attracts me. Don't get me wrong, it's mostly pride and love and admiration, but it also makes her sexy, to me. Honestly, it's the second most sexy she ever seems to me. First is when she's actually trying to be sexy. There's something magnetically alluring about seeing her kick the world's ass, it revs my engine, you know? Maybe it's weird, I don't know if I've ever mentioned that aspect to anyone but her, so I don't know if I'm the only one who feels that way. I don't have a shoe fetish and most certainly do not have a foot fetish. I couldn't describe what an old girlfriend's foot looks like if you held a gun to my head. Feet are about the least interesting body part on a woman to me. I have zero interest in collecting women's shoes. But when a woman buys a high heel that has a really unique looking buckle, or heel design, or color combo etc., it shows me she cares about the details of her appearance and is trying to look a little devilish and sexy. Which likely means she has sexy lingerie. Which likely means she's interesting and unselfish sexually. Women who want an equal relationship. It's so insanely attractive when a girl actually asks me about me, encourages me in my business and in making music, and tries to plan fun activities for us. If she wants me to organize all our dates, pay for everything, cook, clean, etc., and thinks having sex with me makes us even, basically r/female dating strategy, then I stop considering her relationship material and only evaluate if her price is worth the sex. And if she is trying to make me work for her attention but also wait for sex, then there is no reason for me to put up with her bullshit. Women with hobbies and aspirations. It's so hot if she is working on doing something huge and important in some way, even if it's only important to her. People who just watch Netflix, shop, and party are so fucking boring. I used to put up with girls like that when I was a teenager who found validation in sex, but now it's just a hassle to pretend to find such a cardboard cutout interesting. Sure, why not? I think anyone who sits around every single day doing nothing but playing video games will lead a pretty unfulfilling life, said as someone whose primary entertainment medium is video games, and I think anyone in that situation would probably have some passion they'd like to spend their time pursuing, such as going to school, starting a business, etc., but if someone's lifelong aspirations were genuinely to sit in a chair playing Xbox until they keel over, then go right ahead. Post-secondary education, we have the right to education, but what we are taught in grade school doesn't fit what we require. Who has ever needed to recite Shakespeare for a living? Only the people who go into that specific section of the arts. But we aren't taught how to do taxes, we aren't taught about the laws of the country, province/state, city, or whatever. And then we have to put ourselves into incredible amounts of debt so we have a chance at living wages later in life. Glasses. My husband's eyesight is awful, so he can't drive or hardly work without them, but his glasses broke last year and we couldn't afford to replace them, seeing as they're around $800. We had to keep them held together with glue and duct tape for basically a year until we'd saved enough money to buy new ones. If they'd have broken for good, he wouldn't have been able to drive anywhere or operate the machines he works with. And there's nothing we could have done about it. Prefacing this with the following. I am male, straight, if it matters. I'm Caucasian/white. I live in the US. I am considered middle class. I am a father. My list, in no particular order: tampons/pads, insulin, EpiPen/epinephrine, healthcare, includes glasses, handicapable support, mental health care, etc. Condom/birth control/birth prevention education *, focus on religion-free education, sick time, US specific, cancer treatment. Basically, if you need it to live, why the F are we charging for it? If it's to help prevent unwanted birth, why are we charging for it? *, maybe pitch long-term male and female BC, and offer condom/etc. As a second, if it's a natural bodily function/allergy/condition, why do we charge for products, period care, insulin, epinephrine, etc.? Jury duty. I don't need paid for profit, but I need my job to cover me and not pay for parking/transport. So much rule-making shit is set up to be easiest accessed by retirees and stay-at-home spouses with older kids in school or child care. Agnes and Harold get to decide to push the issue for parking meters because Jessica and Matt are at work or taking care of their kids and home. Bertha and Carl decide the date of some 21-year-old while his peers are hustling a job, school, and family. Period stuff and glasses. My lenses cost hundreds of dollars, plus there's the actual frame. It physically pains me to not wear glasses and I need them to drive. I don't live in a country with non-free healthcare. Why does such a common thing cost so much? Or at least doesn't count as healthcare? I know they are expensive to make or whatever, but they can afford other less important stuff, but not free glasses? At least the lenses. Water, I mean, come on, why in the USA where we have so many welfare programs is it so hard to find a water fountain, and when you do find one it always just comes out in a trickle and usually impossible to fill a bottle with. I know that there is good money in selling bottles of water, but why can't there be more public water fountains? This is why my dad taught us to carry a canteen everywhere with more water in the car. Nothing should be free. No such thing as a free lunch. Anything free or subsidized received is merely stolen money that was had by armed robbery, perpetrated by the government on the behalf of the people who voted for them. Only things that should be free are enumerated in the Bill of Rights. Free speech, freedom to worship who and however you like, freedom to keep/bear whatever arms the modern infantry soldier has access to, etc. However, since 1934 the government has found a way to tax the Second Amendment. To the tune of $200 tax on a $2 suppressor, or a $20 shotgun. Mind you, these are our rights, not privileges. U.S. Constitution guarantees the freedoms of life, to all living, preborn or born, black or white, male or female, liberty, freedom from government control or coercion, and the pursuit of happiness, not happiness, but the ability to pursue it. Saying things should be free, like healthcare or education, or medication, is to say that we should have the government commit armed robbery of other citizens on our behalf to force them to pay for something that I want. Don't think the government will kill you over taxes. Don't forget 76 men, women, and children were burned alive by tax agents in 1993 over a supposed $200 tax issue in Waco, Texas. Or the Weaver family was gunned down by federal tax agents over the same $200 tax discrepancy. Try not paying your taxes and see what happens. They will come for your house. If you say you won't leave, they will bring guns to force you, or kill you, your family, and your dog. No such thing as a free lunch. So I actually had an idea where instead of being given the ability to enroll in Social Security or Medicare, the government purchases a whole life insurance policy for you. The only thing you wouldn't be allowed to do is surrender it for the cash payout. Otherwise, you can access the cash value for college or buying other thing, turn it into an annuity for retirement, or pass on some kind of legacy. This would theoretically cut down on tax bills needed to pay for existing programs massively and could lead to better outcomes for low-income and low-net-worth individuals or families that typically don't buy this kind of thing due to budget concerns. Healthcare. Always healthcare. I am risking my spine and my mental health because I don't make enough to go to the doctors I need, and the government says I make too much to get help. Eventually I will need another spinal fusion, and it will only happen when the pain is too bad and I wind up at the ER. Then I can look forward to hundreds of thousands of dollars being added to my already long list of medical debts. It's hard to be sick nowadays, and so many people really need help. I also have a second theory about legal representation. Yes, I know if you go to jail you can get a massively overworked/stretched out/underpaid public defender. You can look up the statistics on that. What happens when I need a family lawyer and I cannot afford $300 an hour? Call pro bono lawyers. They only work with those who have no housing, no income, and some kind of record. They can put you on the others list but eat a like 120,000 pages long and you'll more than likely never hear from anybody. We are bound by laws. We have to abide laws. There are courts for arguing laws and defending laws. If I have a problem for the law to handle, why do I not have easy access to let it be heard? Even if I somehow thought I had the knowledge, it's not even possible for me to make an appointment with a judge because I have something I need someone to do something about. I don't know. Rant over.